Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another night of Owatonna Wrestling. We got our weekly podcast number 4 going here with Coach Johnson. We did not have one last week because of that big storm that came through. So this is number 4 of the 22-23 season. So
yep, they literally, I even got a specific email saying, I know you want to do the podcast, but you are not allowed in the building. So they were making sure that no one was coming into the high school. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, some people that do is the Stockwell family, and they are our sponsors this year. Stockwell Accounting, longtime supporters of the OWA and Owatonna Wrestling, locally owned and operated.
Yep, still an active board member, Mike Stockwell is, and had a couple sons come through and had great careers as well. So I believe his last one graduated in 2020. So to still be this dedicated and everything without kids in the program, that's what it's all about.
Yeah,
you know?
he loves the sport of wrestling. There's no doubt.
For sure does, yeah.
I remember his older relatives, uncles and aunts and everybody, if you went there and talked wrestling, it took you an hour to get out of there.
Yeah.
It really did. Okay, let's get into what the OHS team did we're going to talk about the Davis Duels.
Yeah, we'll go most recent. So got a lot to review, a couple weeks, but yesterday, December 28th, over Christmas break here, we had the first annual Davis Duels, and the namesake, who it's named after, is going to be on the podcast here shortly, and it was just a great community outpouring, a lot of fanfare. So many people traveled to honor Coach Davis, and so for a Wednesday afternoon at 1:30, we actually had a pretty rocking gym, and then for the finals of the Davis Duels at 4:20, we lowered the lights down, lamp was up, head to head with Maple River in the finals. But so we started with St. Paul Harding, first round. How did we do there, Coach?
We won that one 78-3. That was a good match. We had total control there, and then over Maple River, USC 40-33. That was a fun one, right down to the wire, because most of the people in the audience didn't know that they had a forfeit at heavyweight.
Yeah.
And then we were looking at the score and we're thinking, oh my goodness, what's going to happen here? So everybody was wrestling right as hard as they could.
And that was the theme. That's what we talked about today and the next day after practice was, I let them play dodgeball to warm up for a bit, just thanking them for how hard they worked. I mean, we've had some duels so far this year where 80% of the team had great effort in their matches and everything, and maybe we had some mistakes that were a little boneheaded or what have you. But yesterday was kind of a complete match against a team, Maple River USC, who they've been flirting with rankings this season. Last year we upset them when they were ranked, and to have that atmosphere, to have that duel, and then it started off. Kaden Lindquist had a solid match, kept working for the major there. Donovan Sorensen at 113 had kind of an injury moment, took one to the nose pretty hard, shook that off. Came back and stuck his kid, and that was a tight match. It was a 1-point match leading up to that. And then, we had some other highlights where, Mason Bloom yesterday, it was the first day back he sustained a knee injury week 3, in practice. So it was coming off of basically his first matches that he had in 3 years, so he came back to the program. Second practice after his first matches back, goes down with a knee injury. Luckily, MRI, strained MCL, I believe. So he's been working to rehab that back. So yesterday was his first mat time back.
He looked good.
He looked really sharp. We went over some Granby defense after that match. But other than that, he would have racked up a tech fall on that kid had that kid not had kind of a sneaky Granby on him. And then, we looked sharp, kind of top to bottom, and then like Mr. Fitcher, Blake Fitcher at 195 that we're going to have on the podcast shortly, put on a clinic.
He looks good.
Yeah, and I'm going to pick his brain about that match because it was so cool. We had just gone over some stuff the day before.
And then who'd you have break practice down? Break it down, or how do you say that?
Yep. Yeah, we had the huddle at the end, and the guy who got to do the chant was freshman 220-pounder Max Flemke.
I'll tell you what.
Iced the duel for us.
He put on a show. He was trying so hard, and he did not. He told himself, "I'm not going to lose," and that's what he went after.
Yeah, and we knew as coaches that they didn't have a heavyweight. So we knew it with the score, we're down 2. So as long as he keeps it to a regular decision, we knew that we had the duel in hand. But we didn't tell him anything like that. We didn't give him the don't get pinned speech or anything. Just go out there, and win. And for him to get a late takedown with like 20 seconds left, the gym went nuts. Oh,
they like
so
that,
cool.
These young kids, when they can come through on a match.
Yeah.
Just the crowd goes crazy on those matches.
Right.
Somebody's expected to win. They clap and say, nice job, but somebody, they don't know if he can win or not. Boy, they're no fun one to watch.
Yeah, and he's only been wrestling, I want to say, 3 or 4 years.
Cool.
And weighs 198, and he's wrestling 220 as a freshman.
He was a smaller one.
So, yeah.
All right. Then last Thursday, Varsity JV at Rochester JM and against Faribault.
Yeah, so this was, 2 Thursdays ago for that try at JM. We started off, we had Faribault. I don't want to make excuses, but, man, if we keep having our Faribault duel with missing 4 or 5 of our varsity starters, like I don't want that tradition anymore. We gotta stop that next season. But yeah, so we got drilled there, 24-49, and then we did the perfect one right after that, which was a fun bounce back. What was that score, sir?
84-0 over Rochester John Marshall.
That is 6 points all the way, every single weight.
They all pinned him, so that was fun. That was fun to watch too. Team highlights: Trevor Townley.
Yeah, Trevor Townley filled in at 126 for a sick Lane Karsten. Got his first ever varsity win against JM. Riley Kreeger, same thing. He's filling in really nicely for Trey Hyatt, who has a knee injury right now. So he came out and had his first varsity win against JM as well. So back to back, that was kind of a cool little celebration there.
And then last Friday, varsity at Glencoe Silver Lake dual tournament.
Yeah,
tournament.
that was a tournament full of small town hammers. So number 2 ranked Becker, number 9 ranked Watertown-Mayer, who gave Becker a run for it all the way down to the last match. And then Annandale Maple Lake also ranked there. I think they're 6th. So out of the 8 teams there, 3 were ranked, and we took 4th. Oh. So we beat the host school, Glencoe Silver Lake, to start with, 46-27, and then ran into some really, really stout kids.
Yeah, Watertown-Mayer and Annandale Maple Lake, they're pretty tough. Okay, now last Saturday, JV at Anoka JV dual tournament.
Yeah, so
that's just JV teams now.
Yep, JV teams. There's 16 there. Owatonna took 11th, which, I mean, all the best teams, regardless of what class they're in, they all sent their JVs. This is like the state tournament, basically, for JV. So taking 11th out of 16 there is no slouch whatsoever. Like that. And I believe we even had one where we were extremely close to getting a win to move up against, who was it? Oh, Wayzata right out the gate. Had kind of a point swing that was tough. And, Wayzata's top 5 right now for their varsity. So.
Yep. Yeah, you won against the JV All-Star team 57-22. Lost to Stillwater 48-26 and won on criteria against Cambridge 42-42 was your tie.
Yep.
And won on criteria. What was the criteria? Most pins or?
Yep. They first go for pins. Yep.
This week.
Well, and so this next one I'll cut you up. That was canceled with the storm as well.
Okay.
And I don't think we're going to get a rescheduling that was Chatfield in Grand Meadow and then Aquinas from the La Crosse area. So
Aquinas.
That's just, we just had to supplement that on the schedule. So I'll make that quick announcement. We're picking up another event up at St. Paul Harding. We'll get 3 duels for varsity on January 7th. So that's going to be added to big9.org shortly here.
Okay.
And then JV will be there doing an individual tournament. So,
cool.
Yeah, it was nice that we were able to pick something up right away that after that cancellation.
And then the OMS, the middle school of Owatonna. Last Saturday, Stockwell Middle School Invitational.
That was such a fun environment. Like almost and we had 320 that signed up, ended up cutting back to like 272 with illnesses and stuff. So what a great event. And to have that at the high school instead of the middle school, we were able to get that extra mat, that fourth mat in there. That was
That helps
cool
a lot too.
Yeah.
Moves the tournament along.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were probably done by 3:34, like something around there. So we were flying. That was great.
This week now, on Tuesday, is that when you have your
So-
home meet?
Well, that did happen. So that was the 20th. So yeah, we hosted Casson,
Okay.
who we just kind of talked about their middle school fudging of their rankings. Northfield in Scott West, and actually Faribault was there too. So that was cool. I have to commend Sean Hughes, the middle school athletic director, for how he's been really trying to incorporate some other teams. So we're trying not to get the same schools over and over again. So we've had Shakopee, this Stockwell this year had Burnsville, really trying to diversify so we're not wrestling the same kids 6 times, and that's our season,
Yep. Last Sunday, that's right, isn't it? Larry Hovding, Minnesota USA qualifier.
Yeah, so that next day we had the Larry Hovden Min USA qualifier, and it's next. We were talking about options too, about maybe it's going to go back to an open tournament next year. With the new high school, I mean, we're basically just salivating at all the different things we could do.
I heard there's going to be like 3 gyms or.
Yeah, 2 gyms, and we should be able to, for something like the Min USA qualifier or like the Open, what it might turn into, we could have a whole nother girls-only tournament in the secondary gym. There's just so many cool things. So, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that brings us to our break. We'll be back with more wrestling talk right after this on the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast, number 4. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Owatonna Weekly Podcast here. We're getting down to the portion of where he has some honored guests here. I'll tell you what, I watched this kid wrestle the other day, and boy, he's looking better every time I watch him. So you're learning a lot in the sport of wrestling. We have guest Blake Fitcher with us, right? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Thank you for having me.
Only a sophomore, and this kid looked like a senior out in that match. You really took care of your business out there.
Appreciate that.
It's
Thank
fun
you.
to watch. Fun
Thank
to
you very
watch.
much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the thing I love is you wrestle like a middleweight. It's cool that someone of your stature, you're not just a big strong kid, you're a tall kid.
Yep.
And yet you're still going for position, your stance, everything. It's great that you're not getting lazy about anything. Like you sometimes have lower stances than 45-pounders. So
I'll take that.
Love
the
that.
stance in motion we're always doing.
right, yeah.
We're always doing
How much
stance
do you
in
weigh
motion.
right now on a daily basis?
I walk around at about 194,
194.
but I always weigh like a pound less than that when it comes to weighing in. So
Okay.
I don't know why, but
And the weight class is what?
195.
195.
But now we
There
got
you
that 2-pound allowance, and what is it, about 3 days?
January 1st, yeah.
Yep. So that's gonna be nice. Eat whatever I want.
And that's
you go.
the whole state of Minnesota gets that. They're allowing for kids to grow, so they let you have a little extra weight on your body. So
And it's tough for the kids cutting all year round. You
Yeah.
can't maintain that for
Yeah.
4 months is about wrestling season. So
Yeah.
we got some questions. First question I want to ask is, what did you do in the off season to prepare for this year? That's an important time.
football and lift.
Football and lift.
Coach
There you go.
Eckermont had us lifting dang near every day for football, and then you'd go out and you go do conditioning and stuff like that, and it kept you in great shape. And like I said, along with the strength part, it keeps you strong. And I came into wrestling season in really good shape. I remember last year I came in at like 202. I hadn't wrestled like a for real match in maybe a year and a half because I used to live in Iowa and our season got canceled before I moved back.
Oh,
So I had not wrestled for a long, long time. And I was completely out of shape. I felt my lungs were on fire. And but now now we're here. And
Yeah.
I came into shape. It was good. I got some varsity time there, so I got to stay around for the season for about 3-4 more weeks after JV was done, and that's where I'm at.
Cool.
Yeah, that was. I think you lost 20 pounds naturally just from practice. You ended up,
Yep.
still wrestling 95 at sections, but you had been making weight at 82 and
Yep.
trading with Andrew Nurk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But and tell them about sections last year, individual sections.
So at sections, I had a pretty rough bracket. I think I lost to all those kids in the regular season before. And then, so first match was against the JM kid. I was sick when we wrestled them in the regular season, so I couldn't wrestle him before. And I wrestled him. I pinned him. I think it was the second period. And then I got onto the number 1 seed, which was Dylan Pepper from Mayo.
Yeah.
I'm pretty proud of that match. He's in the number 1 seed. He's ranked 9th in the state right now at 182, and I held him to 6-2.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure I rode him out the whole second period, and I take pride in that. But I think I could have won that match if I upped the aggressiveness. But we'll get him again, I'm sure.
Yep. I have the same thing. I lost my best match I ever did too. I lost a kid from Chatfield. I think it was 10-8.
Really?
And he was a real tough kid. I don't remember his name now, but them are the matches you remember.
Yeah,
They are.
I do remember that. But then, so I got to the loser side of the bracket where I came up against my arch nemesis, Brennan Winkles from Austin. And coach was telling me, this is upset city. You got a tough bracket. You got to get some upsets if you want to go somewhere with this. I was like, yeah, you're right. So come up against him. I'm losing 1-0. I was down 1-0 in the first period, and that went on the whole match. And I was trying to work him. I was getting tired. And then the third period came around, and I'm pretty sure I went down. Was that?
Yep.
I went down. My choice. I went down because I needed to get that point. And he rode me out for the entire third period until about 8 seconds left. And then I hit a roll. Good old roll to bail me out. And I was thinking I was just going to get one, but I ended up behind him and he started to try and run out, but I was not about to let that happen. So I sucked him back into the match, and I got a reversal instead of one escape. So I won that match 2-1.
Whoa.
That was
You weren't going to let him get away, huh?
No,
You
was
sucked him right back in.
Austin's senior captain.
their guy.
He's coaching now. He came back here and was coaching.
We
and,
wrestled Austin, and I look over at the JV side, and I wrestled him last year.
Yeah.
And so, but then after that, I came up to a true second match against Kuiper from Northfield, and in the regular season, he pinned me 30 seconds. I got caught in a cradle, a dumb mistake. But I think I took him 11-4, lost to him. But I'm proud of that section run.
Yeah.
I was not even supposed to be in that spot with how regular season went. I should have taken almost dead last, but I think I made a name for myself at sections.
I think you did too. For sure. How is your season going this year so far?
Very well. I think I'm 2 wins away from getting as many wins as I had last season.
And we're in December.
And we are in December.
Cool.
I think I'm sitting 15-1 right now, including forfeits. So if we don't, I think I'm sitting about 13-1. I only got, I think, about 2. I'm practicing with Kale on a daily basis. Landon's coming in during his Thanksgiving break and Christmas break, so that's giving me a really good run.
Yep.
I get beat up a lot, but also I get the once in a while I might ride Kale out or something, or I might take Landon down somehow, which it makes you feel good and it keeps you going throughout practice. You get tired, but those little things keep you going.
Tough guys make you tougher.
Right.
Well, and speaking of tough guys, you're lucky in that some of the coaches that come in are about your weight or a
Oh
little
my
bit
God,
bigger.
yeah. Coach Scala and Coach Sorensen.
Derek Scala and Justin Sorensen back in
Yep.
the room.
Talk about strong. I get bullied around by them, especially Coach Sorensen, because I think he has some anger to take out from back in the day or something, because he takes it out on me. Coach Scala's a really nice guy, but Coach Sorensen, he's a nice guy too, but when it comes to on the mat, he needs to leave me alone. But like you said earlier in practice today, he taught me 3 moves 2 days ago after practice, and I used all 3 of them in my matches yesterday. So
There you go.
Yeah, your Turk yesterday was college level, solid. Zane Rutherford.
that felt good.
That was, it was textbook.
Yeah, I
did
never
everything by the letter. It was
I've
great.
never done a tilt ever in my life, and I decided I'm gonna try this.
Yeah.
And it worked out for me. I think I got 3 from it. So
Yeah, well, and because you're so good at getting the bust, and then it's like, okay, bar half, feeling it out, and to have now that option of you have the pressure, everything's great, and just flip up that leg and throw in a Turk right there, like that's.
yeah, that felt nice. And I hit him with a really nice ankle pick, and I heard the crowd on that one. I was like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. And if you say they're bullying you into making you do these moves, it's working.
Yes,
so.
it is. It is working. I've been with the top guys in this room since my freshman year, and I'm only a sophomore. So hopefully I can be one of those top guys going into my senior year.
I hope so too. I think you're on the road. I think you're on the good road. So, what are your team goals this season? I know Johnson knows what his are.
Well, of course, I want to go to state. We got a lot of tough competition, but I do think we could do it. If we are fully healthy, I think we could manage to beat Faribault. Mm-hmm. Mayo upset Northfield already, and we hung with Mayo last year. It came down to heavyweight.
Yeah, quite frankly, I mean that was a couple point swings, 2 matches specifically that should have gone our way, and then it's over. Yeah. So.
Yep. And then Northfield, since I've been here, we've never really hung with Northfield, but like I just said, they got upset by Mayo, so anything is clearly possible. Maybe they don't have the power they had last year, and we'll see how that goes when we wrestle them in 2 weeks.
Yeah, January 12th.
January 12th at home.
Home duel. That'll be fun.
That's some good goals there, Coach.
Yeah.
And then your individual portion of the tournament. What are you going to try and do there?
I want a section title.
Section title. There you go.
If Pepper from Mayo stays at 82, it's me and Kuiper at 95, and I believe I can go far into the section tournament. I believe I could get through the first 2 rounds to get into that championship match, and I will be jacked up to go into that match, and I will be excited to get going. And he's kind of my rival now that Winkles is gone. Mm-hmm. And I got to beat him at least once in high school, and I'm hoping to do it at sections and get a section title, go to state, hopefully do something there, make an impact, make a name for myself.
Well, that's some great goals there for a new guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, and from what I saw yesterday though at that match, is you were doing really well.
Thank you.
And you can tell if you're wrestling with tough guys because that's how you're moving. That's how you're doing your moves out there. So
and coaches,
I've
learned
solid.
so many new moves from Coach Johnson. Coach Sorensen just taught Turks 2 days ago, and Coach Mock was teaching us how to defend getting bust down today. And all those bigger coaches work with the big guys, and you get your Coach Meagers who will work with Lindquist because he's about the same size as him. But I got 4 coaches who can go with me: Coach Johnson, Coach Sorensen, Coach Scally, and Coach Mock. They're all relatively about 190. Coach Sorensen's probably 230, not including the muscles. So I just can't stand it sometimes.
He probably feels like a full 230.
He quartered Nelson.
I think he's
me
still
one time.
200.
Yeah,
he's in great shape.
Insane. And he quartered Nelson me one time, and I'm pretty sure I did 3 side flips. It was just a deadly quarter Nelson, and it's just painful, man.
What does he do to stay in shape? Was he lift
I have
every
the
day,
slightest clue. He looks like he lifts every day, that's for sure. So is Coach Scala. They got some tree trunk legs.
Yeah, they're gorillas.
My story about Coach Sorensen is he came in, first ever time he came into the room, he came in with ankle socks, high top wrestling shoes, and a shirt that said "Stay Dangerous," and it was skin tight, so the pecs were popping, and I was like, he said at the meet and greet thing that we did at the beginning of the season, he said he's gonna wrestle the 190s, the 220s. I'm like, and he walked in, and I was like, you're joking, right? He walked in with ankle socks, and I was like, he's insane.
He can do what he wants then.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I knew he was insane when he walked in with ankle socks, and he had calves that were the size of a hammer. What's going on here? Where did you find this guy? Did you wrestle him or something? I don't know what's going on.
It was fun. He did very well when he was there.
Yep.
You know, high school and college. So
Yep, All-American at Augsburg.
yeah, he did real well. What other questions you got, Coach? You got anything?
Well, I forget. What was your music choice?
It was Never Hating by Lil Baby. Mostly older individuals won't know who Lil Baby is.
Yep.
They think modern day music is stupid, as I was told.
Oh no. Oh no.
But if it gets you going and you're running
Yeah.
out, like I told my buddies, I said, running out yesterday, I felt real good. It felt nice to go out in front of the home crowd under the light and be able to run out. It boosts you up.
Oh, yeah.
It doubles everything. Doubles your strength. Doubles your adrenaline. It gets you going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they don't have, the team runouts
That's cool. I love
for everybody, but your own personal run out. That's whatever resonates, man. I had Rob Zombie one time, and I got
that's
a lot of talks about that, and like, well, that's who I listen to, man. Like, want that heavy metal.
Yeah,
So,
you either got the guys who will pick their walkout song for the fans, or they'll pick it for themselves.
Yeah, yep.
And Flemke, shout out to Max Flemke. He's always got a good song.
What was his last name?
Whoop. That's what it was called. It was some party song.
Oh, was it Whoop? There it is.
Yep,
Tag team?
that's what it is. That's what it was
Oh
called.
man, I'll sing the whole song right now. No,
Yeah, that's what it was. It was just called Whoop, and I was like, all right,
there it is.
that's exactly how it goes. And I was like,
Yep.
he's always got this party song. Last year he had a great rock and roll song. He's got good taste.
Well, he's got classic rock. Yeah, we talk about that all the time. Him and my son geek out about like CCR and stuff. So.
I don't even know what CCR is. So.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna just attack you.
Okay.
So.
All right, so I guess we got we're gonna have to cut her off now. We got
Yep.
one more guest coming, and we're gonna take a little break, and we'll be back right after this.
Oh, hey,
No.
sorry, just real quick, shout outs. Just real quick.
Mom and Dad for getting me into wrestling. He's my muse. So he's got me. He told me I was gonna try it out in preschool, kindergarten, and stuck with it since. I've gone to every MNUSA state tournament, and I've stuck with it now. I remember in 5th grade I wanted to quit because I was just sick of it, but then I said, stick through it. You're going into middle school. Maybe you'll get you back into it, which she did. Played a lot of dodgeball. That helped out a lot, and now we're playing dodgeball here like today.
Oh, you earned it.
Me and Kale
Yeah.
lost, so I'm not very happy right now. But just Mom and Dad. That's about it. And my coaches and teammates.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Not your sister.
No,
No.
not at all.
We'll be back with more wrestling right after this break. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast guest portion of the match, or match of the night. That word just comes out all the time. And we got former head coach Scott Davis here tonight. Welcome.
Yeah,
Good to see you
Good to
back.
see you,
thanks for
sir.
having me.
Yeah.
We had quite a party yesterday at the Davis Duels.
Yeah, I was very honored to have Derek, name the tournament in my honor. And of course, Derek was, I would say he was probably our all-time best high school wrestler. I mean, 2-time state champion, 4-time state place winner.
Yeah.
And was I believe, team captain of our 2001 team.
Yes.
And that's a team that I'll always remember because I think we wrestled way above
Oh,
our
yeah.
level.
3 seniors, and then a big drop off
And
as
we-
far as ages.
And we had graduated so many seniors. From
yeah,
the year
the class
before.
of 2000 was an all-star team.
It really was. In fact, I won't say more about that, but
You can talk about Hastings.
they were better than they should have done better. But anyway, yeah.
I just want to point out I did get a pin in the Hastings goal. I did my job.
Okay. I think what happened in 2000 is we just got a little overconfident.
We did.
Yeah,
We did.
We got
Yep.
overconfident and we overlooked Hastings.
We believed our own hype.
Yep. But the 2001 team, boy, I'll tell you, with all that graduation, we wondered, how's this year going to go?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, we got to the state finals, and we gave Apple Valley a great meet.
It was not out of hand.
No, it was not. We had, their coaches came over afterward, and they said they were nervous.
Yeah.
They didn't expect that.
I know.
So, Derek and his crew, 2001 team was very memorable for me. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I too, I say this all the time, but like, I feel like I directly benefited at the exact right time from you and what you built here, where elementary, right when the new OWA season started, was my kindergarten year. So I
Sure.
got the benefit of that with 250 kids in the youth program and
Yeah.
all of that. And then all the way up through, I was state finals and state title my freshman year, but state finals 3 out of my 4 years of high school as a team.
Yeah.
So I feel like I got all the benefits of what you built.
You
It was
came
great.
through a good time, but it was people like you that made that good, you and your teammates. And those were really fun years. And if it wasn't for that doggone Apple Valley, back in those days, we'd have had numerous state titles.
Right as they started to do the free agency thing, right at that time.
Yeah, there was one year I counted 7 different states represented in their lineup.
Oh, yeah.
And I always felt good about our program is we built our program.
Well, the T-shirt my senior year was homegrown.
Yes.
That was the T-shirt.
Boy, that ticked off Apple Valley.
I know.
We came out with those when we wrestled them. And, man, they were not happy. But, hey, the truth hurts.
And then next year they came out with a T-shirt, something like "Born in the USA." Or
Yeah,
something.
Born in the
my
USA.
God.
So that was pretty fun. We had kind of a good back and
I was about to
forth
say,
thing,
that's
but
actually pretty
It was fun.
cognizant. Yeah, that's
It
cool.
was.
we did have, we had good relations with the coaches. At
Oh, great.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I know Jim Jackson. He's a good friend of mine. And we've enjoyed that back and forth. But again, we seriously would have won several more state titles.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Apple Valley.
Yeah.
Really,
Yeah.
we beat everybody else. So.
Right.
And we had times where we beat them during the season, and then they caught us on, at the state tournament or something.
Well, yeah, and I think just to show how good our teams were, we were still nationally ranked, even though we didn't win the state.
Yeah.
We were in the top 25 10 times. Mm-hmm. The 2 times we won it, we were in the top 10. And they don't just rank you. I mean, it's tough to get ranked and not win a state title.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's
So I
telling.
think they realized, the level of,
Right.
I think our highest was number 6.
number 6, yeah. And 2005, I think that was.
That's in the nation now. You're talking like, 1,100 schools? I don't know how many schools have wrestling in the United States.
Yeah, we about 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's incredible.
And the year we took 6, we lost 1 meet, and that was to Iowa team, yeah. And they ended up ranked 3rd at the end of the year. We were 6th. So.
Now, we're talking nationally ranked, We're
The
not
national
talking
rankings,
state
yeah.
ranked. Ranks right now.
That's what I'm saying, out of 10,000 teams, So yeah, those are great. Derek came through some of our very best years. And,
Yep.
And that was a fun group to
It was
work
always fun to start.
Mm-hmm. So you came to Owatonna
in 1986.
86.
And I'll mention, at 1985, 86, I coached at the University of Wisconsin Superior, and I had Les Plumley with me, and Les was here last night.
I met him.
Yeah, Les was here, and he coached
He's a
here.
good friend.
He coached here for, I don't know how many,
3-4 years?
yeah, maybe 3-4 years, and so that was fun. Les came with me, and then his buddy Pete Caspers, who wrestled for me at Bird Island Lake Lillian. We had a team that took 3rd in state there in '79, and Pete was on that team, and good friend of Les's. But they came last night. We had people that I hadn't seen for several years here. Jim Herzog was here,
Oh, that's
former
so great to
athletic
talk to him.
director, principal. That was great to have Jim there. And then of course your father and your family were a huge part of our building years.
Yeah.
He coached with Larry at the junior high, and
Yep.
and then up with us, and those were the years that we were really building the program. And so we had a lot of those people here, and that was great. Steve LeCount was a neighbor of mine. He came last night. Della Soli coached a number of years ago with us. Bob Phillips,
That
of course,
was great to see.
and Bob was our freestyle coach too.
Yeah, USA, big time.
Yeah. And then Keith Stark, what can you say about Keith?
Right.
He used to work on our media book and, did some
Stat
announcing.
man.
And he was known as the stat man.
Yeah.
Well, and it was so nice of him to agree to a 30-year contract last night to be our community historian.
There you go.
So I was working on him pretty hard. I'm still coming for you, Stark.
But we're sweet, and I hate naming people because we're going to leave somebody off.
Yeah.
But like the Pecans were here last night.
Yeah.
They had put in a lot of time with their program. Larry was coaching with Dave Nelson back then.
Yep.
And Dave was here, at the junior high.
Gabe was here. He helped.
Gabe was here, yeah, and Roy Koenig was here, of course, and Roy was our careful radio guy, and just a great guy, and Lonnie Sorensen and the Sorensens.
Yeah.
I think Justin was here. I don't know.
There's a lot of different sorts.
Yeah. And then, Bruce Barrett, Kevin Rasmussen's here, John Wagner. I said Bill Hinchley, Dale Benjamin. What can you say there? I mean, he's been the voice, really,
Mr. Radio.
of Owatonna wrestling. And there's just a number. I think people that worked with, specifically with our program back then, we had about 30 of those people here last night.
Yeah.
And that was just great to see. We all sat together. We had a blast up there. And then what topped it off is the Huskies went 2-0.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so that was great. We had a lot of fun. And that's when you had named the term, I thought, this is an opportunity to have a great reunion, And,
Yeah.
and
It worked out.
And it was, I was really surprised because I thought it would be hard to get people that don't live here or
sure.
are ways away. But boy, they all turned out.
They did.
They
They did.
That was great fun. It really was. So I appreciate that. That was a lot of fun for a lot of people last night. Yeah.
It was. It was.
And then for you guys to go 2-0, that just made it all the better. So
Yeah, and I'm excited about, what this could turn into with the new high school. We think we can get 8 teams and
I think it's going to get
JV
bigger.
tournament. Yeah, yep.
There's no
before I
doubt.
forget too, I should mention the Schuberts were here.
Oh, yes.
Because I was saying, you got a kid wrestling now, but Larry was here. He did a lot of work for us, and Jason and Bruce Barrett, Kevin Rasmussen, all those guys. Scott Sorensen,
Yeah.
It's in
and he's got a son wrestling.
Got 2.
Two
Yep.
sons.
Yep.
Okay.
120 and 152.
Great, yeah. But yeah, so many people, and I apologize if we don't get everybody's name in. It's hard to
I
remember
know.
who was all here. And
Yeah.
I apologize, but just really appreciate all those that came back. We really do appreciate it. And we had a number of women there too, but I could go on and on with it. A number of people we've had help with Owatonna wrestling.
Right.
Those
Well,
are just some of them.
I really believe it's going to get a lot bigger next year. I
Yeah.
really do, because everybody had a lot of fun at this tournament.
Yeah.
Or quad or try or
Yeah,
whatever,
the Maple
quad.
River coaches were elated after it.
Right.
Even though they lost, they were like, "This was so much fun.
It was a fun
This is
tournament.
what dual wrestling, high school wrestling's about."
Sure.
So we were already talking next year, and just the timing in general. There's teams that expressed that they would like to come, but had other,
Sure.
bi-state Rumble on the Red, what have
It's
you.
always tough that first year to put a tournament
Yeah,
together.
yeah. So really trying to put out the feelers, and but like I said, I have some teams kind of honed in to where I feel like we have 5 or 6 already lined up. Just got to nail down the date, which should be solidified in a couple of weeks here. So.
I remember when I started the Dick Black Invitational.
Yeah.
Coach Black, who was a predecessor of mine as a coach, and it started getting out of hand. We had such tough teams.
That was crazy.
It was we call it the Dick Black tournament. It's tough, and nobody argued with that.
Yeah.
I mean, we had some teams coming from Iowa and other states, and it was brutal, really.
Yep. Yeah, that was a hard Saturday every single year.
Every match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no easy teams in that
Yeah.
one.
So.
No, well, and so obviously I wanted to honor you not just because of the accolades, like, hey, you're the all-time winningest coach in the nation, 1,205 wins, just little numbers like that, like just absolutely
I'm
impossibly attainable stats, but also, I'll say it all the time. Like, I'm constantly trying to think about, like, what did Scott Davis do 80s, 90s, 2000s as far as how you marketed, how you created this fandom, because we were known as being the community that we'd go up to Grand Rapids and we had more Owatonna fans than the home crowd.
Yeah, we did.
And, to be one of the first to have, Dale and Larry, a TV and radio broadcast on site. We were renowned. I was in college wrestling for Wisconsin, and I had people come up and like, where are you from? I'm like, Owatonna. They're like, oh, you were all the surfers. We had our blonde hair and dyed.
Yeah, I remember
They're like,
that.
oh, you're the surfers with the TV crew and the crazy fans. And I'm like, dang right.
Yeah, I
So,
remember
yeah.
the blonde hair thing now.
Yep,
Yeah,
blonde
that's
hair.
funny. Yeah, that was
We were the
funny.
first team to do all white singlets before people started having alternative singlets and everything. Like, you blazed a trail as far as
We're
marketability.
leaders. We're leaders in that marketing.
Absolutely,
Lots.
absolutely.
Well, it was just fun to do a lot of things with wrestling. you
Yeah.
know. And I had kind of grown up with an art background. Not many people know that.
I didn't know that.
I started out as an art major. I didn't finish that way. I went into physical education, but I think that would kind of attributed to some of the things like that, like our media book and our posters and just this room.
The paintings on the wall.
Some of the stuff we do, and that's been a part of me, and it's just fun to do. But it's a motivator for the kids.
For sure. So I'm trying to rekindle. What's the I think I know the answer here. The craziest bit of merchandise that you developed for the wrestling team, and you were just talking about it before I think that's your answer.
What's that?
The cereal.
Oh, the cereal
box.
I know it's there's one up there. First one is up there.
Yep.
Yeah, we had cereal boxes with Owatonna wrestling. I
And our
don't know where I found
team
that.
picture.
You were on the Rochester News doing that bit. That was amazing.
And we eat the cereal in front of the camera.
Yeah. And then the "I'm Too Sexy" song comes on, and it's me and Balzer with our Owatonna wrestling watches, and
I saw that on, I don't know what I was reading some magazine. I saw, God, we could do our own cereal boxes.
That was so cool.
But I was not afraid to try. You got to try stuff.
Yes.
And some works and some fails.
Yeah.
Larry knows that. And but you try but it's neat to look back and see some of that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really is.
One thing that really worked for us is be late at night. 11 o'clock at night, 11:30, and all of a sudden my phone would ring, and here's Scott. How about how about we try this? Or I'd call him and say, hey, maybe that guy should wrestle at that spot. Or what do you think? We're bouncing things off each other all the time. I mean, if you get a guy like that where you can, at the junior high level, you can talk back and forth.
You got to have a staff that you can trust,
Right.
and that are, talented and know their stuff, and you can converse, and it's a staff. It takes look at the crew we had come last night. It takes a lot of people to really build a good program. I hate to say it, back when Dick Black was coach, it was Dick Black.
I heard like at most 2 coaches.
That's
staff,
just how it was. I remember you had Dick Black and Marshall Lindell, for a while, and that was it. Now you see these you see staffs with 10 guys or whatever.
I'm freaking out. I only have 6, 6 or 7. Because I remember having just a stable, guys like for me, and that was the cool part was you almost had like your own personal coach for like your pod.
Yeah.
So it was like, for me, it was BJ Mariotti.
Yeah.
It was Jeff Becker, Mike Woltman, like these guys that could, go with you. They could hone your craft, encourage you to stay after and work on things.
We tried to split it up that way too, with who knows what and who could kind of relate to a certain wrestler.
Sure.
Their style or whatever. So in a way, you did have a personal coach.
Yeah, it was
kind
great.
of how we did that. Yeah. And I think that made it more fun for our staff too. I didn't want all these guys just standing around and I'm going to do everything or whatever.
Right.
I mean, and then they all have great ideas.
Yeah.
God, why didn't I think of that? And so you have to have a good staff, and you have to have a staff that works together and supports each other.
We use them 2 words. How about all the time? We did all season long. We come up with new ideas, different ideas.
Yeah.
Some worked.
But like you say, the promotion thing now is fun. A lot of that came from the off season. You'd start thinking of things, or you'd have a slogan for the year.
Yeah.
Or what's our slogan for our poster that year?
Right.
And that kind of stuff. But that's kind of fun. I think when you add some fun to the wrestling part of it, it gets a little more enthusiasm for the fans and the competitors.
Speaking of fun, too, was the Owatonna Open. That tournament was huge.
Yeah, back then we had the Owatonna. It was the largest open tournament in the northern part of the United States at the time. One year, I think we had about 1,500 participants.
Yeah, I remember those
And
days.
a lot of people worked on that. I remember, like Stockwell was running a truck to bring the mats over, Mike Stockwell and those guys, and there's some others that were helping too. But
it's a lot of mats, 16 mats.
Yeah,
we had to haul up to 4 seasons.
And I got, it was funny because we were thinking about officials, and because you want good officials for a tournament like that. And I talked to a few officials, actual officials in the high school league, and they thought, God, this is great. Not that we pay them, but they were looking for opportunities in the off season, and this was like in the spring,
Yeah, March.
and they weren't doing like freestyle. They were off, and I called a few of them, and they just jumped on board. So
really?
we had some of the best officials in the state
Yep.
at the Owatonna Open, and
the off-season.
and we didn't pay them a dime. We gave them a T-shirt. They got an
there you
Owatonna
go.
Open T-shirt.
Yeah.
But that really helped the quality of our tournament too.
Yeah.
You know, and they had, and you know, I got to see some of those guys last night. You know, the officials that were here last night, Rick Rude and
Olson and
we had Bill Olson and Steve
Graff.
Graff,
Yeah.
you know, and those guys go back a long ways.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, good officials, you know. In fact, they would not be officiating now if they weren't quality officials because they'd be gone.
Right, yeah.
You know, so that tells you a lot. You see an official with gray hair, he must be a pretty good official.
Right, yeah. Yep.
So that was fun. But those were fun days, you know.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest things I ever remember promoting was that truck. We had a raffle to give
we
away a
had a
truck.
truck.
Oh my goodness!
And I remember
worked
Larry
our
was so
tails off.
nervous about that. He says, "Can we do this? Are we going to make enough money to pay for it?" And that was the biggest thing.
Oh, sure.
Because we had to pay for it, plus make money on
Yeah.
it, you know. And,
Oh my God.
but we did.
I remember
And you
us
put on
standing-
the hard sell.
I remember I was standing on the table in the lobby where everybody's signing up. I said, "There's some crazy guy in there that's giving away a truck for $5." That's talking about me.
Yeah.
I said, "Go through the doors. You'll see for yourself." And
That
people
was-
just blocked it.
Oh, gosh.
It was really funny.
That was one of Larry's best sale pitches, and we needed it because we were worried we were going to lose our shirts.
I should have got a used truck. And we'd have made about $6,000-7,000 more on that one.
But that was at the Owatonna Open, you know, and that was. And, you know, the Owatonna Open got a reputation where we didn't even have to really advertise a whole lot once it got going. I mean, people just came. That was on their schedule.
They
you
knew
know.
they were coming.
And it was just packed at that Four Seasons.
It was insane. I
really
remember.
was.
Well, and then you had the folk style one day, freestyle the next
Yeah,
day. You know,
yeah.
that thing too. So it was 2 days of it.
And we had different age groups.
Yes,
You know?
yep.
And we had the worst part of it was the old timers tournament. Because they'd come and they'd get hurt because they were old timers, but they wanted to wrestle, one last chance to get on the
Sure.
mat, and we had broken legs, broken arms. It was ugly. We would contemplate, should we drop the old timers? But they wanted to do it.
Oh no, they told us right away.
Make sure that waiver's ironclad.
Yeah, that was we had the ambulance there a few times.
Oh gosh.
Well, we'll move on from that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
those were fun times.
But we did make money on that truck. I think we made $800 by the end of that tournament.
Oh yeah, well we did better. Now I think we'd make $1,500 to $2,000.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
All right.
dollars.
I didn't know we
But
got
then
that.
what happened really is the first tournament kind of like that was Apple Valley's.
Okay.
I have to say they started that. Bill Demery when he was the
Yep.
coach, and that's kind of where I thought of that idea, and then ours just took over. You know, but then after ours was running pretty well for a few years, you started seeing all these other open tournaments opening up.
Oh, sure.
And that ended up kicking in, taking some from ours, because ours was the only one except for Apple Valley's. And but then everybody started, hey, we can make money doing this.
Yeah, for
But the
sure.
thing is, to run a tournament, you have to have a lot of people. And I think that's the biggest thing I can say about Owatonna is that people have been so great to come and help out.
Yeah.
We never had trouble getting volunteers.
Oh, I remember bragging about my phone list. I had a piece of paper with 2 rows of names on one side and 2 rows of names on the other side. So I could go down that list. I need somebody for when I ended at that name, the next tournament, I started there. I started calling out. So everybody got a chance. 1 or 2 times for the whole year. They were happy. They
Yeah.
were, I didn't run a person to death every week. I need you to do this. I need you to do that.
Well, I think we found that people actually wanted to be part of it. They wanted to help out.
They wanted that white jacket. Oh, they wanted that white jacket.
Saw a few of those last night.
Yeah, well, and you had to have been a contributor to get a white
Right.
jacket, you
Yep.
know. So we had stuff like that, that it's just a little extra incentive. And,
Absolutely.
and that's what I see about Derek here is he's kind of going back to some of this stuff, and I think that's-
Absolutely,
I think
yeah.
that's
being
gonna help.
that you're young, starting out so young, but in your career, if you start following stuff that this guy did, man.
Well, I think the other thing, and it's not a knock on it, but we've had a couple coaches here that weren't part of the Owatonna system, didn't
Right.
come up through it, so they didn't. I don't know if they really understood what made it click,
Right, and I think that's the thing too. I I only coached under one of them for a little bit, Cliff Castile, who great technician, great in the room, everything like that. But yeah, it's different if you weren't there.
Yeah.
Because it was true fandom, like the fervor from the 80s, 90s, 2000s. When you have an entire community drowning out people at away meets, going to the Mayo Civic Center for team sections and taking like 3 sections of the audience, like the Homer Hankies, everything. It was just a different vibe. You know, it's kind of like Bill's Mafia now in football. It's like, you know, it's more than wins and losses.
Well, even the state tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, we took over as far as the fans.
For sure,
you know,
for sure.
and,
So yeah, I'm just trying to keep that going, and like I said, we're gonna repeat next year and following, and hopefully grow. I definitely want that dual format, that old feeling of the Federated Duels of Dick Black, and keep that going with your name on it. So. And we appreciate you coming down today, too.
Yeah, well, I'm honored, and I was honored with the tournament and to see a lot of my old coaching staff back last night. It just made a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun up there, Derek.
Yeah.
We did, and you made it fun. So
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, Coach.
Okay, I got my questions all done.
All right.
I've
Well,
asked you many.
well,
I know one thing
sure.
I want to bring up, a memory that we kind of laugh about now, is when back in '86, I don't know whose kitchen table it was. I think it was at my house. You came to my house, and we laid out our whole plan for the whole year, what we wanted to do. Youth program, to middle school, or junior high it was called then, and the high school. This is what we want to do. And when I got all done, I seen all this, and I thought, gosh, can we really do this? And what did you say?
Larry, we can do anything we want.
He said,
great attitude.
I said,
And we did.
okay.
Yeah.
And that first year of the youth, we ordered 50 singlets, thinking, oh, we should have enough. We ended up with 200 some kids, and I ordered singlets 3 times that year. And we were down in that old room with the pole in the middle. It's a locker room now.
Yep.
I'm trying to run, 50 kids on the McKinley team and 40 on the.
I think our highest,
other
I think
team.
we had 270 some kids was our highest. actually.
Yeah.
But if you counted, we had cheerleaders too.
Oh, sure.
Because you didn't really see girls wrestling then.
Yep.
So I thought, God, we got to buy into the girls too.
Sure.
So we had girls cheerleaders. So we bought pom poms.
Oh, yeah.
And we had
Tops, they brought them
and
t-shirts.
Kelly Spindler was the cheerleading coach at the high school then. And
Mm-hmm.
she worked with the girls.
And then, of course, they wanted to look good, so they bought
So
their
we
own
ended up
skirts.
buying them some stuff, and it was, and we'd have these dual meets with the elementary teams.
Yeah,
And they'd
those
have
are
50, 60, 70 kids on an elementary team.
Mm-hmm.
And, McKinley's going to wrestle Washington tonight, or that. And
Or Lincoln. McKinley and Lincoln was always
and
a
that
big
was-
match.
And that was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was. Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I just
And
want to
we'll-
leave that with you. If you question yourself, can I do this? You just tell yourself, yes, I can.
do whatever I want.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And I want you to know all our former, they're very proud of you, Derek. And they're glad that you're the head man here, and they wish you well. I want to tell you that. So.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah, that's about it.
yeah.
All right. That wraps it up here. Another portion of Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast. It's number 4 of this season. We didn't have one last week because of the storm, so the 22-23 season. 23 is coming up.
It is.
Man. So anyway, it's a lot of fun, and I want to thank Coach Johnson for running this show here, and then we had Coach Davis as our big guest tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you much.
All right. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.